Right, good day and welcome. Now we're looking at functions, grade 12 and grade 11 work. Here I'm taking tune exam questions that were in grade 12 on parabola and straight line. So from 2019 to 2022. So we look tune 2019. Sketch below are the graphs of kx, which is ax squared plus bx plus c, and hx minus 2x plus 4. Graph is the turning point at minus 1 and 18. S is the x-intercept and of h and k, and graph of h and k also intersects at t. Calculate the coordinates of S. Determine the equation of kx in the form ax minus b squared plus q. Kx equal minus 2x squared minus 4x plus 16. Determine the coordinates of t. And then determine the values of x for which kx is less than hx. The grade 12 question I've taken out to make sure that this video caters for grade 11 and 12. And the grade 12 questions, the other questions here will be done separately. So, from the graph, we've given a turning point, minus 1 and 18. And S there, we have to calculate the coordinates of S. So S makes contact with H. I have a full equation for H. S is referred to as the x-intercept because it makes contact on the x-axis. So to get x-intercept, we'll always make y equal to 0. So h of x there, the y becomes 0, equal minus 2x plus 4. If I take minus 2x over, it becomes positive 2x equal 4. 4 divided by 2, which gives me x equal to 2. So my coordinates of S, 2 and 0. 1 mark for substitution, and 1 mark for coordinates. Right, let's look at the second question. So they want us to determine the equation of kx in the form y equal ax minus b squared plus q. They've given me a turning point, minus 1 and 18. So if we take minus 1 and 18, this states that my p-value will be positive 1, because remember x is minus 1. Minus 1 plus 1 would then give me 0. So therefore, then the place of p plus 1 and the place of q, 18. So remember, the x value of a turning point always changes sign in the equation, but the y value of the turning point stays the same. Then we have the point S, which is found 2 and 0. So if I take S 2 and 0, my y value there is 0, while my x value there is 2. So 2 plus 1 gives me 3. 3 squared would give me 9a. If I take positive 18 across, it becomes negative 18. So negative 18 divided by 9 gives me negative 2. So a equal negative 2. So if we complete my equation, kx equal negative 2. X plus 1 squared plus 18. So whenever I give you a turning point, you are going to use this formula to find the equation. Right? Look at the problem. Kx is, so they've multiplied out on our behalf, minus 2x squared minus 4x plus 16, term the coordinates of t. Now very important, we tend to ask this question whenever we have two graphs where they make contact. That's referred to as a point of intersection. So a point of intersection, kx equal hx. Right, so kx is minus 2x squared minus 4x plus 16. hx is minus 2x plus 4. If I bring minus 2x squared over, it becomes positive 2x squared. Take negative 4x over, it becomes positive 4x minus 2x, which gives me 2x. If I take positive 16 over, negative 16 plus 4, which gives me negative 12. Can divide all three terms by 2, so that becomes x squared plus x minus 6. Now if we factorize, x squared can only be x and x. 3 times negative 2 gives me negative 6. But 3x minus 2x would give me plus x. So therefore x equal minus 3 or x equal positive 2. Right, so if you look there, t is on the negative side. So t there, we're working with x equal negative 3 there. So I substitute back in this equation, minus 2 times negative 3 plus 4. Negative 2 times negative 3 gives me positive 6. 6 plus 4 then gives me 10. So coordinates of t, negative 3 and 10. So very important you get used to this. We will always test one exam question where we have two graphs, and we will test point of intersection for 5 to 6 marks. So get used to the procedure. Alright. Now they say determine the values of x for which k of x is less than h of x. So I'm going to go through this slowly. Right? The two graphs, you see it's k and h. So we're looking at both graphs. Two graphs intersect at t and they intersect at s. So if I draw a line by s, vertical line and a vertical line by t, I've broken it up into three parts. So this part to the left of t, in the middle, and to the right of s. Alright? So if we look this side of s, so the two graphs, which one is on top? H of x is on top, k of x is at the bottom, so h of x therefore is bigger than k of x. Go to the middle, h of x is the bottom here in the middle, and k of x is on top. So therefore in the middle, k of x is greater than h of x. If we come on this side of t, hx goes up, kx go down, so hx greater than kx. So where's kx smaller than hx? So where's hx bigger than kx? Alright, so there hx bigger than kx, to the right of s and to the left of t. Right, so not in the middle. Right, t is x coordinate minus 3, s x coordinate is 2. So therefore we would say x going to the left, x less than 3, or going to the right, x greater than 2. Because there hx and hx bigger than kx. So you'll always have the or if it's on the side, or combined when it's in the middle. Right, so that concludes that exam question. Look at June 2020, KZN. F of x equal a, x minus 2 squared plus 4, a not equal to 0, and gx equal mx plus k as sketched below. Say OS equals half the length of OQ. Right, write down the coordinates of P, write down the range, show that A equal minus 3 over 4, determine the turning point of H if Hx equal the f of 2x, write down the equation of gx. So let's the problem. So to get the coordinates of P, we should know in that equation my value of P, value of Q. P always changes, Q always stays as it appears. So P there would be 2, not negative 2, but become positive 2 and positive 4. So P, 2 and 4, that's my turning point. Right, straight to the equation. For the range, I need the y value of the turning point. So P there we know is 2 and 4. The graph is pointing down. So from P, that y value there, that's a maximum turning point, meaning the biggest turning point, and it's decreasing after that. So therefore my range, because it's becoming smaller, y, less or equal, because it equals that value, 4. Right, so that's my range, or it can be written y element going from 4 to negative infinity. So 4 all the way to negative infinity, and that is my range. Show that a equal minus 3 over 4. So very important. OS equals half the length of OQ. So Q there, P was 2 at that point, and 4. So from O to Q, if that is 2, that is 2 units. So if that's 2 units, OS is half that length. 2 divided by 2, OS is 1. So coordinates of S, if it's by 1, would be x 0 and y 1. Right, substitute in my equation, so my y value becomes 1. My x value is 0. Gives me minus 2 squared, which gives me 4a. Plus 4, if I take it over, negative 4. 1 minus 4 would give me negative 3. Negative 3 divided by 4, a equal negative 3 over 4. So my equation reads f of x equal minus 3 over 4, x minus 2 squared, plus 4. Alright, so hope you follow. Alright, let's look at the next problem. Determine the turning point of h if h of x equal f2x. So we know f of x equal minus 3 over 4, x minus 2 all squared plus 4. Now we've changed x to f2x, so wherever I see x I must write in 2x, so I have minus 3 over 4. My x there becomes now 2x minus the 2 squared plus the 4. Between those two I can take out 2 as a common factor. 2x divided by 2 gives me 1x, minus 2 divided by 2 gives me negative 1. Front and the back stays the same. Now 2 times 2, 2 squared would give me 4, x minus 1 all squared plus 4, and then there 4 and 4 cancels, so I'm left with minus 3 times x minus 1 squared plus 4, so my new turning point, p always changes sign, so if that's minus 1, that's positive 1, because 1 minus 1 would give me 0, and yeah, my q value always appears 4, so my new turning point 1 and 4. So hope you follow and understand. Right, write down the equation of g of x. So g of x is the straight line. We have the coordinate of s, which was 0 and 1, and q is by 2. Remember, p is 2 and 4, so q there would be 2 and 0, because it touches the y value at 0. So for g of x, I can first substitute in my y-intercept or my c value, or the k would be 1, right? And then I use q2 and 0 to find the gradient. So this states that y is 0 when x is 2 plus 1. So if I take 1 over minus 1 equal 2x, x equal minus 1 over 2. Take note, I made a small error. That should read m. So 2m, 2m, and then m equal negative half. So g of x equal minus half x plus 1. And there we found the equation of a straight line. So hope you follow. Look at the next exam question. So June 2021. They've given us a full equation for the parabola and a full equation for straight line. With the drawing, so generally we would just test, can you find the coordinates if we give you the equation. Right, so number 1, they want the coordinates of a and b. I assume you know a and b are on the x-axis and they are called x-intercepts. Determine the coordinates of c, the turning point of c. Then the range, so without the turning point I can't find the range. Then the graph of hx equal fx plus q has a maximum value of 15 at x equal 2. Determine the values of p and q. Say the grade 12 part of this I'm going to do separate in its own video. So let's solve problem number 1. Determine the coordinates of a and b. So say the a and b are x-intercepts. So for the x-intercept we always make y equal to 0. So there f of x, which represents y, becomes 0 equal minus 2x squared plus 4x plus 16. Divide everything by negative 2, I would have x squared. 4 divided by negative 2, negative 2x. And 16 divided by negative 2, negative 8. X squared can only be x times x when I factorize. Minus 8, the factors of minus 8, negative 4 times 2 would give me negative 8. But minus 4x plus 2x gives me minus 2x. So therefore x equal 4 or x equal negative 2. Assume you can see a is on the negative side, so therefore a minus 2 and y is 0. b 4 and y there is 0. So my coordinates of a and b minus 2 and 0 and 4 and 0. Right, second question. Determine the coordinates of c, the turning points of f. So for coordinates of c, first we find what we call the axis of symmetry. The line that cuts the graph in such a way that both the left and right hand side are identical. We can fold them over each other. To get axis of symmetry, we first work with x equal minus b over 2a. That will always be the formula given the equation. So b there, 4, so that becomes negative 4. 2 times a, in this case a is negative 2. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 gives me positive 1. Right, and this must go back in the original equation, so this becomes f of 1, where I see x, 1 squared, 4 times 1. So 16 plus 4 gives me 20, 20 minus the 2 then gives me 18. So my turning point 1 and 18. So C is 1 and 18. Alright, so to get the range, as I said, we need the turning point. So the turning point C1 and 18. Because the graph is a sad face pointing down, that's called a maximum turning point. It turns at the biggest value of y, which is 18. Graph is pointing down, so my range would read y less than, because it's becoming smaller, or equal to the value, y value of the turning point, 18, or can also be written as y element of negative infinity, going from 18 to negative infinity. So that is for my range. Alright, now they say the graph of hx equal f x plus p plus q as a maximum value of 15 at x equal 2. Determine the values of p and q. So for f of x, we got my turning point was 1 and 18. For h of x, x equal to 2, so my turning point is at 2, and the maximum value at 15. So 2 and 15, so to get the values in p and q, I'm going to say, subtract my turning points, 2 minus 1, which gives me 1, 15 minus 18, which gives me negative 3. Remember, p always changes sign when it goes in the equation, so p equal negative 1, and q equal negative 3. Right, and that concludes that exam question. If you like and enjoy the lesson so far, please like, share, and subscribe. Right, next exam question, June 2022. Sketch below. Again, they gave us the full equation of the graph. So we're going to test, can you find the points given. So calculate the coordinates of E, the turning point of f of x. Write down the value of k. Determine the equation of the straight line passing through C and D for 4 marks. Right. So to calculate the coordinates of E, the turning point, remember we have to find x's of symmetry. The equation always read x equal minus b over 2a. So x equal negative negative 6, 2 times my a value, which is negative 1, that invisible 1. So negative times negative gives me positive 6. Positive 6 divided by negative 2 gives me x equal negative 3. And this will always go back into the original equation given. So there x is negative 3. So wherever I see x, I'm going to write negative 3 squared minus 6, negative 3 plus 7. So that gives me 7 plus 18 gives me 25. And 25 minus the 9 there gives me 16. So my turning point E minus 3 and 16. Right. Now they want the value of k. So we have a x value, we don't have the y value, so we're testing your substitution skills in that equation. So if t is negative 5 and k, we're saying x is negative 5, so that becomes negative 5 squared minus 6, negative 5. And at the same time, f of x is now represented by k. So 30 plus 7 gives me 37, minus 25, k equal 12. So t there is minus 5 and 12. Right, and then the last question here, determine the equation of the straight line passing through C and D. So number 1 from my equation there, you see, y-intercept x is 0. So I'm only left with 7, so C there is 0 and 7, and t is minus 5 and 12. So I want a straight line going through those two. Y equal mx plus c is my c value. So c forms my c value, which is mx plus 7. If I substitute t minus 5 and 12 in, this states that y is 12 when x is negative 5. So if I take 7 over 12 minus 7 gives me 5. Minus 5m equal 5. 5 divided by negative 5 gives me negative 1. So m equal negative 1. So therefore y equal negative 1x plus 7. So that's the equation of my straight line. So hope you enjoy. Please like, share, and subscribe. Right, the other parabolas or the other graphs will be done.